is dedicated to honouring the life and times of renowned freedom fighter Oliver Reginald Tambo. OR, as Tambo was affectionately known, was president of the ANC from 1967 to 1991. The City of Ekurhuleni is hosting a month-long commemoration of Tambo to celebrate his contribution to the country's democracy. OR and his wife Adelaide are previous residents of Wattville in Ekurhuleni and are both buried in the township. Their daughter, Nomatemba Tambo, joins me in studio to chat about these celebrations and, of course, other initiatives that are currently underway in October and beyond. Thank you for making the time to join us in studio. Tell us a little bit about the commemoration of your father in the month of October and some of the initiatives that you've seen mushroom about in different parts of the province.
Well, it's a wonderful opportunity to be here. Thank you for that. It's an exciting month for us. Always October is. This year is particularly poignant for the family because this year it's 30 years since he passed. Mm-hmm. So the kind of celebrations that we'll be having will be really speaking to that and to trying to help people to understand the person that he was. Not just a name on a road or a building or an airport.
Or an airport, yes.
But, you know, the human being, because he died in 1993. So he never saw all the work he had done to make South Africa a democratic country. He never lived to see it realized.
Yeah.
So we want to really, along with the City of Ekurhuleni and other cities across the country, because Oliver Tambo Month is a national month. Mm-hmm. So we want to really see a burgeoning this year of activities around his name. City of Ekurhuleni is doing a lot of things with school children. Education is really important, I think, in terms of letting people know the important history from which they came. Otherwise, it's easy not to have a sense of grounding. And I think for our young people, it's really important for them to know what they still need to fight for. Mm-hmm. On my mother and father's grave, my mother said something. She said, our fight is not yet done. Until we're all literate and educated, our freedom will not have been won. Mm. And she finished by saying education, education, education all the way. Both my parents were great believers in the power of education to liberate and to inform. And in an interview he did, talking about his early life, he spoke of the desire for knowledge and how that shaped him in everything he did. So in Oliver Tambo Month, we really want to speak to our communities, be they young communities, old communities, rural or urban, and say that there are still lessons to be learnt. We will be doing, for example, a golf day. People don't know much about my father in terms of the things he enjoyed, and one of them was golf. So we thought that it would be a wonderful way in which to support golf development in the country, but also to show people this was something he was actually good at. Mm-hmm. And he used to play with President Kaunda in State House in Zambia when he had an opportunity. They used to compete with each other on the golf courses. So we wanted to celebrate that and say this is another side of him that you don't know. So we're going to be having a golf invitational for him on the 25th of October. And, of course, everybody is welcome to join in, and a dinner in the evening where we'll be talking about him. We'll be having a film that's being shown a few days before, donated to us by the directors. It's a film called The London Recruits, but it's a private viewing. But anyone who wants to can contact us if they'd like to come and see, but it is private. And then, of course, the theatre itself is being sponsored and given to us by the Musa family, who have a huge history in South Africa. And AB is a great friend of us and the family. So we're excited for that. Then we've got projects going on. I think a lot of people don't know that AXA has just started a new aviation academy. How amazing is that?
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing projects with the Aviation Academy, but particularly with AXA. They do a massive celebration for my father every year on his birthday, which is the 27th. Mm. So we're looking forward to all of those things. We also have research chairs all over Africa. And those chair holders will be coming to South Africa also to discuss ways forward, what research they've managed to do, what needs to be done in the future, to reconnect with us all, and so that they can see for themselves the benefits of some of the work they've been doing over the years.
Yeah.
So these are all sort of the initiatives that we're having. And in order to support things like the Golf Day, as I say, it's about sports development. And my father would have loved that, because he knows what it's like to come from a family of relative small means,
yep,
and try to make something of yourself. Golf, we thought, was a way in which we could do that. So we're going to be developing a golf range between Lombardy East and Alexander Township. We're going to be building, because whilst I was in London, we collected golf clubs, equipment I should say, from the golf clubs in our area in North London, in Muswell Hill, where I grew up. Muswell Hill Golf Club has been absolutely amazing.
yep.
And so because of that, we've been able to bring those golf clubs over. We're going to start golf libraries.
Yeah.
So if you can't play, you don't have equipment, you'll go to the library, you'll take out the stuff, use it, return it. And so we're also going to be looking at programs to assist caddies. And so we're working with the Find the Way Foundation to work on upliftment of caddies and their role in their profession, getting them to a space where, through the golf libraries as well, they can get equipment and go and compete in tournaments,
yeah,
and all of that kind of stuff. So we're going to make it a national event. Next year we're going to Cape Town. And so, we want to take the message that he has to speak of in terms of excellence, in terms of inclusion, because this really is an inclusive thing. It's not just about wealthy CEOs.
Yes.
It's all members of the community can take part. And to find out what we could do in other areas of South Africa where people think that the name Tambo would have relevance to their youth, and where we can show them that he may have died many years ago, but his messages of excellence, of compassion, of integrity, of decency and humour, they're still as relevant today as they ever were.
And they will continue to be, won't they?
I
want to
so.
get into some of the other work that the foundation does beyond October and celebrating his life and his legacy, because you did open a can of worms and you did say he was more than just a name on an airport or on a street or a freedom fighter, an activist. Apart from being an avid golfer and passionate about education, what was your father like, as something that perhaps will make him a little bit more relatable to a viewer that perhaps was not alive or fully understood the struggle that led to the democracy that we have today?
Well, if you're talking to me as a daughter,
yes,
I have to say that he was blessed, but from our perspective, we suffered as a result of the extremely strong Christian values that he had, mm-hmm, and the level of discipline. It wasn't just him. Uncle Nelson, Uncle Wilson, they all had the same thing. They were perfectionists. Mm. And so we could not get away with very much. We were always expected to do our very best. But in teaching us, because he was a teacher, don't forget, he taught science and maths. Because he was a teacher, he understood how to engage us. And he taught us with a great deal of love and humour. Mm. And non-judgmentalism, and I think that that's something that we could take forward. Yeah. When you're teaching children and they don't understand, or they may appear to be distracted, you may not always know as a school, as an environment, what is going on that has led to that kind of an attitude. And compassion and patience and a bit of humour can go a long way, I think, towards building confidence amongst young students who do have a rough time of it in some locations and things like that. Yeah. He also loved music. Mm. He sang a lot. He was a choir master, and he was a stick fighter when he was a child. Mm-hmm. He was a great athlete. Yeah. He loved sports, and he was good at sports. I think that the thing that I loved most about him was that he just encouraged everybody. So even my little boy, he used to play Lego. And I remember my father watching him once play, and he said, "My goodness," he said, "Sasha, I didn't know you had such a brilliant brain for this game. You must be the world champion." And you see this little boy, all of, 4, just puff up.
Yes.
Say, yes, I'm actually the best. Well, I can see. And he was like that, yeah, with children. But can you imagine now you take that and you do it to adults, to kids who've just left South Africa in 1976, who are broken and crushed and angry and hurt. and they want to fight back.
Yeah.
And he says to them, but your battle is not on the battlefield. Your battle is in the classroom, because we need educated young people to rule our country when we get our liberation. So go and study. And he organized scholarships for them. He adopted everybody.
Yeah.
I had Welsh aunts and grandparents and Jewish ones and everything. And they were considered family. That was another thing that he was wonderful about. He was totally inclusive in his emotional heart.
Yeah, very briefly, if you will, finally, where can people get involved in some of the initiatives of the foundation, but also some of the projects that will be happening across the country during October?
Well, one could contact Ekurhuleni, the city, for their projects, AXA for their projects. The foundation, of course, has got its own website, which we will have a post of on our website, which is www.olivertambogolf.co.za, and all the other information will, before the end of this weekend, be available there for people to follow. And they should just keep in touch, keep watching. There are many interesting things to see, hidden stories about him that people didn't know. An interesting journey, we believe.
No, absolutely. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us in studio. That is Nomatemba Tambo, who's the daughter of struggle icons Oliver and Adelaide Tambo, speaking about October, commemorating their struggle for freedom, but also the different projects that will happen in Ekurhuleni and across the country to remember OR, as he was affectionately known, his legacy in the fight for democracy in South Africa.